markets in Nigeria right now. Today we saw the market tick up ever so slightly. The NSE All-Share Index closing at 33,514 points. We had gainers included today: Unilever, GT Bank, NACO, FBN Holdings, and Diamond Bank. Let's cross to the NSE, where Opeyemi Oladejo is standing by for some comments. Opeyemi, thank you for joining us today. And like I mentioned, it seems good to see the market finally stabilizing after the recent slide we've seen these days.
Yeah, it's so nice to see the market stabilizing a bit. Yeah, like we know that since the results of Diamond Bank came out on Wednesday, there's been consistent declines in the all-share index.
Yeah.
But today we saw an increase of 0.14%.
Right.
Yeah.
And today I noticed as well that the insurance companies seem to be leading the way, quite a few of them, Mansard and ICO gaining almost 10%. Talk to us about the investment opportunities you're seeing in that space. Is this something that we should be allocating to now? Because these days a lot of people are saying that if you look at the banks, if you look at some of the consumer stocks, we're beginning to see quite a few pricey stocks there.
Yeah, well, you're right, but the fact that most of the insurance companies, their results are not yet out. But having said that, ICO, Mansard, Prestige, and some of those companies that typically declare dividend name, on a yearly basis, usually, are the stocks that the investor would ordinarily invest in, if at all they're going to invest in insurance stocks. So those stocks have been having investors' patronage in the past. And if there are no information coming, at least those ones could, to a large extent, form part of their portfolio.
All right.
So,
if we move on to investor sentiment, I want to get your thoughts on this. Like I mentioned, the market's stabilizing right now, but if you look deeper, it seems that a lot of people are waiting on the sidelines after the recent rally of the stock market. Your thoughts on investor sentiment right now and how you see things changing going forward?
Yeah, thank you very much. Moving forward, I think it's going to be the quarterly results now that's going to drive the market moving forward from here, because basically, if you look at the banking sector, almost all the major banks have released their results, with the exception of First Bank and Sky Bank and one or two other banks. But basically, all the banks have more or less released their results, and the ones that have not released their results, the investors' expectation of their results have already reflected in their prices. So not much is going to be expected, but what they stand to offer moving forward. That's why when Diamond Bank released their results on Wednesday, it wasn't too good because investors didn't get dividend, but right. It went to as low as 5 naira 67 kobo. But the next day, it went up again because after the market discovered that even though they didn't pay dividend, but they have prospects for further for improved performance, because their first quarter results is actually good. They got a 24% increase in PAT. That's first quarter results, and that's why moving forward, that's going to also dictate the pattern of investment of investors in the course of.
Right. What about retail investors, though? To what extent are they getting involved? We've seen the balance of power move a little bit more in favor of local investors. Foreign investors, of course, have been dominating the market for the most part of the last 2 years. So your thoughts about how retail investors are getting involved now?
Local investors are just trying to get themselves in tune with the market. Don't forget that the market is still smarting from the shock, if you like, that happened during the market, during the stock market meltdown in the 2008-2009 era. So I know that investors really don't have access to capital like they used to. What I mean by capital is that there's no more margin facility that they used to have.
Yeah.
So basically, it's what you have as your own funds that you play with. So you tend to be more careful. So that's why we tend to see investors reacting very, very sharply, not willing to take the kind of risky investment decision that they will have taken. Of course, because if you look at some of these results that come out and investors panic, it's also an opportunity for those that have funds to take advantage of the market. Right. In the last 2 days, those that bought, for instance, those that bought Diamond Bank when the price just went down on the day the result came out, had made like over 10% in just 2 days. So, but if the funds is not there, then obviously they have to be careful with the little they have. That's why they tend to be more cautious when they are investing compared to the foreign investors that have large funds to play with.
Okay, let's talk a bit about the outlook of this market. How big is the risk, in your view, that we could see this market trending lower over the rest of this quarter? Like, it's a good point you make about results. We've seen, to a large extent, some of the big banks, a few still are yet to release. And if we see any negative surprises there, that could get the market going lower. But do you think the risk of this market falling back is moderate, if not high?
I don't see the market falling back, honestly. As a matter of fact, I won't see it. I mean, you know, for some time, it has been on the uptrend. You know, there has been consistent a bearish trend. It was just in the recently when the results started coming out, and investors needed to take out profit for those that have actually entered the market at the right time. I believe that it gets to a point whereby the stocks will bottom out, and institutional investors will even invest more heavily, and you find some of these stocks actually coming back at least to the position they were, you know, at those times where the market were actually very bullish. So I don't see it going down. The index is actually 30,514 points. This quarter, as a matter of fact, I see it doing very much higher than that. If possible, getting towards at least very close to like 37,000 points. Well, you know, if not more than 37,000 points.
We will